July Forex London session live stream. So let's look at news. First of all, we have core retail sales in New York session and consumer sentiments later into New York session. So we are safe in London session. First of all, let's look at what we were anticipating yesterday. Yesterday we knew that trend is highly bearish and any attempts in buys could end up in loss. Yet we were waiting for buys. We were anticipating buys above 1716 area, but those buys didn't appear. And later on at this area, at 1707 area, we were again anticipating buys because market dropped a lot around 300 pips, but those buys didn't appear. We just closed our live stream and went with our day. Those buys do appear later on around 100 pips of buys, but these buys weren't according to our trading patterns, and so I will not even execute on this buys. I tried to execute earlier. That trade end up in loss. I held my trade a little bit longer, although it was a losing trade. I should have just cut my losing trade, but I feel like emotions take over my decisions at that point. In GBP JPY, we executed by position based on pattern 2, and that by position gave us 19 pips. We closed everything in 1920 pips, and later on it went into our runner went into 40 pips profit. I didn't secure my runner and it got stopped out. So we will redo our analysis for today both in gold and in GBP JPY. All right. The monthly candle in gold is moving down and down. We have already moved like 1000 pips down on current monthly candle. We are now at strong monthly support of 1707 support. We have another support at 1680. So still the trend is heavily bearish, and if we look at this week, we are dropping from start of Monday. We did a pullback on 13th July. Yeah, this was our trade, but we just missed this trade. But for now, we will look at weekly time frame. In weekly, we are pushing down and down. So We have now a support at 1700 area, and below that support I remember we have another support at 1680 area, around 200 300 pips of area. The trend is heavily bearish. In daily we just keep pushing down with little to no retracement, and in H4 we have a support at 1705 area, and we have resistance at 1710 area. We will draw these zones based on hourly time frame. We are stuck in dirty consolidation. And yeah, these are our two zones, 1714 area and 1700 area. If we were able to break above 1714 area, we can potentially keep pushing up till 1731 area, and if we break below this area 1702, we can potentially keep pushing down to 1685 area, I will say. But we are just waiting. In gold it is very tricky to buy. Even we knew that higher time frame trend is bearish, but still it is very difficult to capture sell trades, and this range is around 120 pips. We probably have done a fake out above 1714 area, and now we are inside the range. We can keep pushing down till 1700 area, but in trending market I it is very difficult for me to capture trades because my system basically works in mild trending markets, and this is the phase of market in which it is difficult for me to capture trades. But we will look to see what is happening later on. So weekly candle is rejecting, it has rejected like 400 pips from the low. Monthly candle has no wick to the upside, and it can potentially create an upper wick. So we are just waiting to see how it will move. If we look at current weekly candle, the weekly candle rejected from 162 area. It was unable to break above the previous weekly candle high, but today we can anticipate that prices can keep pushing up, and it may break above previous candle high because today is the last day of the week. So maybe we can find some buy trades, but we'll see. In daily we have support at 162 and 700, and we have resistance at 163.800. The same support and resistance from yesterday. We will look at smaller time frame. We will readjust our zones. At this point we have an other at this point we have these two zones. We have resistance at 164.200, and we have support at 162 2 area. I am looking to see these areas of, I'm basically watching these areas in detail. Let me look at it in more details. We have another zone right in here, and yes. This was our zone because I executed this buy position yesterday based on this zone, and if we look at today, we have two areas. We are forming a resistance at 164.600 area, and we are creating a support at 164.200 area, and for now it is very difficult to draw a bias where prices can potentially move. If we break below 164.200 area, we can potentially keep pushing till 163.700 area, around 40 pips of range, and below that area we have another zone at 163.200 and other 50 pip of range, and below that we have around 100 pips of range, but we have this area at 162.900. But the whole issue is so far it is very difficult to draw a bias where prices can move based on smaller time frame, but if we look at daily time frame, we can assume prices can potentially keep pushing up, but we need to the break above this wicks at 164.600 area. Then we have clean move till 165.050 area, but we are just waiting. It is very difficult to anticipate trades at this point. So we are just waiting. Gold is pushing down. We can potentially drop to 1702 area, and then maybe we can look to see if we can find some trades. So today is 15th, today is Friday. We started the week from 11th of July. So I want you to look at my yesterday trade in GBP JPY, and maybe we can find something. Yeah. So GBP JPY we have noticed from past three pattern two trading patterns that second high usually forms in pattern two. First, this was our high, and we created a second high right here, and we potentially keep pushing up. So this was the point I basically forgot. So I basically read my journal because I knew I am sort of missing something. So this was the thing I was missing in pattern 2. Second high usually forms in M5 time frame. Alright, we are breaking below the lows. Alright, let's demo execute this trade. We will only trade our patterns on our real account, but I will basically execute this trade on demo account. This week was, man, very hard to trade. I knew market was trending, but for me personally this week was very hard to trade. But still I managed to break even for the week. But today maybe I can find some trade which can put me in profits or losses for the week, but I am okay with both the outcomes and I will basically execute on that pattern. Right, basically yesterday I have taken a screenshot of few patterns that I wanted to study, but I didn't study them at all. Now when I looked at my journal, I remembered that I need to study those patterns because those patterns are very important for me. But so I will just upload them to my blog for now because I may forget if I don't. Yeah, this thing I need to upload this thing on my blog because I need to look at it in more details. I want this screenshot to be second high formation near daily. Thanks God I have written a point on my journal, else I would have forgotten about this thing. I will look at now, at least I have something, and I will look at it later on. All right, we are just waiting at this point for GBP, JPY and gold to show us something, but we are not getting what we wanted to see. It will take time, man. It will take a lot of time for prices to potentially create support and resistance. We are just waiting at this point. London markets will open in 14 more minutes. In gold, we are breaking below 1703 area, and at this point, I will readjust my zone to 1700 area, and yeah, we are pushing down. At this point, I was anticipating we can potentially keep pushing down to 1700 area. We dropped like 100 pips, but that trade doesn't make any sense to me. That's why I just avoided that trade, and I wanted to basically study these things. Basically, let me show you. This thing is the same thing as we witnessed yesterday right in here. It was exactly the same thing, but as it is the variation of pattern 1, I just forget to basically execute on that, and basically I didn't study my notes, my journal yesterday. I went to sleep, and if I have studied my journal yesterday, it will be a great game changer for today, but obviously that don't didn't happen. GBPJPY, we can potentially keep pushing down at this point, but the whole idea is I have basically seen this thing somewhere earlier in GBPJPY. If I can find that, I have basically seen this thing somewhere earlier, but I don't remember when. It feels like my mind is not responding clearly today. All right, at this point we are just waiting. We want these candles to close in GBP/JPY and in gold in 6 more minutes. In gold, we are bearish. We are not anticipating any buys until we break above 1715 area. Let's write it down. Candles are about to close in 3 more minutes. But we are just waiting. At this point, there is nothing for us. We can potentially drop to 163.600 area in GBP JPY, but we are just waiting. Alright, GJ, we have successfully dropped till 163.700 area. This is what we were anticipating, but you are unable to capture a trade. So we will look to see if we can find some good entries later on, but at this point it makes sense to just wait. Yeah, this at this point just waiting. There is nothing that we can recognize in gold and in GBP JPY. Alright, we executed this trade on demo account because I knew that there is very high probability for prices to keep pushing down till this area 50 pips of trade, but I don't, because this trade don't have our valid trading pattern, so I just avoided it. But I demonstrated it because I knew there was a very high probability for prices to keep pushing down, and we are pushing down. But I am not looking for profits. I am not chasing markets. What I am looking for is I am waiting for my trades to appear as per my trading pattern. This is what I am waiting for. At this point we have waited a lot basically, but we are unable to find entries. This move do happened a 50-60 down 50-60 pips down move, and yesterday this move was around 100 pips. They were similar in nature and we missed both of them, but I am looking to see if this thing is a valid pattern one variation, because we have these consolidations and then we continue pushing down. I am concerned about this area. Other than that, if these candles were not present, these candles, then it it is a valid pattern one variation. It is a valid pattern one, but because of these five candles, it is not a valid pattern one. 5 4 hour candle mean 5 M30 candles mean basically 2.5 hour of consolidation. And nothing in gold. Alright, at this time I am basically leaving live streams and I will see you guys later in New York session, because